And then on the 28th, we have Ron Dugan. So, lots more coming up for Wrestling Lit as we end the month. Alright, on to the bad news. We are wrestling with the news, and it is not a great day for wrestling as we lost an absolute positive legend in the homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu, also known as Terry Brunk, known for his time in ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. He was a two-time ECW World Champion, a former NWA World Champion as well. People might not know that. He held the television champion for ECW Tag Team Championships with RVD. People might even not know that he was an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in New Japan. Of course, Sabu was the nephew of the original Sheik. Apparently, he got shot in the face, and soon after he recovered, he started wrestling training with his uncle. Like I said, he was known for ECW, also being a part of FMW, Anita's Deathmatch Pro Wrestling Company, where he famously was in the Ring of Fire Deathmatch that only lasted a couple minutes because the heat was so extreme in the ring that everybody had to evacuate after a couple minutes. He also got a lot of the scars that you've seen on his body during his time in FMW, where he famously crazy glues all of his wounds shut, leaving those extreme, no pun intended, scars on his body. He would come back to ECW where he would feud with Terry Funk, King Kong Bundy, Shane Douglas. He famously and most notably headlined the first ever ECW pay-per-view, Barely Legal, against Taz. Like I said, after that, a couple stints with New Japan, where he debuted in the Tokyo Dome, teaming with Masahiro Chono, of all people. A very interesting tag team, to say the least. Even did a couple of stints in, a couple of matches in WCW. And even prior to that, even prior to going to FMW and ECW, in 1993, Sabu had a couple of shots with WWE, where he wrestled Scott Taylor, Scotty 2 Hotty, and Owen Hart in dark matches. Yeah, a lot of interesting, fun facts about Sabu. But he would make his return to WWE in 2006, where he would have a interesting out of nowhere feud with John Cena, which led to a Extreme Lumberjack match at Vengeance 2006, I believe. He wrestled the Big Show for the ECW Championship at SummerSlam. Fun facts there. And he, interestingly enough, teamed with John Cena at Survivor Series in the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Um, After that, he would do a couple stints with TNA. His last notable television appearance would be with AEW, where he was the special guest enforcer for Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing, I believe. Was that 2 years ago? Yeah, on in 2023. And just a couple of weeks ago, on April 18th, Sabu wrestled his final match, his retirement match, at GCW at against Joey Janela in a barbed wire death match. We could maybe talk about that after we talk about we have this, we give this tribute to Sabu, but yeah, just right up to the end, he was still wrestling, which is, you know, incredible for his age. He was 61. Definitely too young for a pro wrestler, if I'm being honest. But I think Taz said it the best on Dynamite last week. Sabu had aura before aura was a thing. You just gravitated to him. There was just something magical about that character. Um, Whether it was drawing chairs, because not a lot of people drew chairs. Uh, Whether it was the Arabian moonsault, where he would use a chair to jump to the ropes um, onto his opponent, whether that was inside or outside the ring. Um, Sabu is always going to be, I would say, a beloved figure in pro wrestling. Definitely a mythological figure when it comes to aura and, presentation. Any thoughts on anything you want to speak about on Sabu?
I mean, well, you kind of said a lot. It's crazy because, like, the story of him getting into wrestling, it was he got shot in the face. No, he got shot in the mouth, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy that dude had from, it's like hearing the stories of Sabu, of how he got into wrestling. He got shot in the mouth helping his friend, trying to help his friend, right? Which is crazy enough, right? So then he goes and trains, um, and trains for 7 months with uh, with the Iron Sheik, but they trained and he didn't even touch the ring
The original
for
Sheik.
7 months. Yeah, the original Sheik. He didn't even touch the ring for 7 months. So it was basically the Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off way. He got old schooled into it. Um, which which I mean, for the most part, that kind of sealed his, not sealed his fate, but that kind of showed you the perspective he was coming from with it, right?
Yeah.
Especially considering, one of those old school guys who kind of keeps it. Um, but there were so many stories about him doing matches where he would break his jaw.
I remember
This
that.
guy is lit in the middle of the match and still like finish the match, which is bananas to me. That's just crazy. Like he would break his jaw, they would just stitch it, right? And then, that's it, and that's crazy that to even have that happen. Um,
Very high tolerance for pain.
Very high. I I think, and of course, me seeing him personally, I think I remember the first time I saw that guy on an ECW, and during this time, you had to watch like, uh, Jesus, you had to watch it like you had to find ECW.
Hmm.
But when you found it, oh my goodness, it was bananas. Um, that guy made me want to stay up. Him and RVD as a tag team was must see TV. It was bananas the things that they were being able to do. Um, his style was literally the antithesis of ECW. Him, Sandman, they had like, I mean, Sandman had more matches with him than anybody because um, it was always a freaking rivalry between them two. And then, not to mention, the tag with RVD was must see TV. Like the Dudleys were the number one tag team in ECW. They were a close second, and they really wasn't even a tag team.
Right.
They just came together by virtue of like rivalry,
Right. We beat the
which is
crap out
crazy.
of
And
each other, and now we're beating the crap out of other people.
everyone else,
Yeah.
right? And it's crazy because Bill Alfonso is like, of course, the manager for them both, and for him, he says like that's one of that's up there as one of the best times of his life, which is that says a lot. You know what I mean? That says everything to me because it that dude was just he was different. He was different. I mean, he I mean, just coming in on John Cena like that was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
like, ooh. So I mean, the fact that that dude, uh, it's just sad that it was just all of a sudden.
It was very sudden.
It was very sudden. The only saving grace of this is the fact that he got to go out. He got to retire, which not a lot of wrestlers are able to do. You know, he was able to retire, and the people who got to see him the most got to see him retire and kind of share what they mean to him.
Right.
Um, but like you said, man, him and RVD, man, they were concertos before concerto was a thing.
Oh yeah.
They were doing like top rope moves with the fucking moonsault with the Van Daminator. It was just nuts, the moves that they would put together at ECW. They like people like Sabu. I always say this: Sabu, RVD, and the Dudleys were the reason I stayed up to 3 in the morning looking for that goddamn show. Dead ass. Because them dudes were like doing shit, and it was just like, what the fuck,
Oh yeah.
And I'm just looking like, 12. I mean, at this time, it's 11-year-old me like, man, this is some wild shit, but I like this.
I think it's safe to say, you know, as big and influential as ECW was, and it absolutely is, I kind of feel like Sabu was one of the the stakes, the spearheads to that, because he was what the ECW style was. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he, I don't want to say he invented the ECW style, but he was what people looked at and said, yeah, that's what ECW is all about. That mentality, that personality.
Oh no, no, he man, dude, he was that, and I'm telling you, like, there were several moves he invented. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
And it was just that guy is just triple jump moonsault, Sabu.
and he did it so effortlessly. And
So Tiffy Time, Christopher Daniels, they can thank Sabu
yes,
for
and
making that popular.
the funny part of it is, like, um, as many times as he hit it perfectly, there was times when he didn't hit it so perfectly, and people will say, "Oh, well, he didn't, he didn't hit it perfectly." Well, that wasn't actually intentional. Him and RVD kind of came out and said, we didn't always hit those moves 100% of the time, because we wanted to show the danger of what we're doing. That if a professional could like kind of shake at the top of the ropes, you know, it tells you how severe a match was, or that nothing was 100. So even like the psychology going into matches, like wow, to have that, you know, to have that mindset. And we're talking about. I talked about some of his history. We didn't even really scratch the surface. Like that was just like a small synopsis of what Sabu did. Not to mention a lot of the what ifs when it comes to Sabu. Um, if you believe rumor and innuendo, he was actually supposed to come into WWE in '96 and have a match with Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. Um, could you imagine that? Sabu versus
Hmm.
Shawn Michaels in 1996, and what?
I think the styles of that would have been fucking nuts because this was at the time where Shawn Michaels experimented, like him and Vader, him and Mankind, him and Styles made fights.
Oh yeah, and there wasn't a lot of people as athletic as Shawn Michaels that could hang with Shawn Michaels. Um, and where could that have led Sabu if he had that match with Shawn Michaels? Sabu versus Undertaker, Sabu versus Mankind, Sabu versus Stone Cold. Sabu versus The Rock. Like, what would that have been? Uh,
Oh my god, that would have.
yeah. And, while you're saying, okay, maybe hold the phone, maybe Sabu won't have done that. Well, in 2006, like a decade later, when he was in WWE, Vince McMahon actually liked Sabu. He liked the character of Sabu, and he wanted to give Sabu a push, but he Sabu didn't want to talk on the mic. And as everybody knows, if you don't talk on the mic, um, Vince isn't going to push you. So it could. There's definitely another big what if there. What if after that John Cena match at Vengeance, Sabu started talking, because obviously Vince McMahon had ideas for the guy if he put him with his biggest fucking star. Like, what if we got Sabu and Randy Orton, Sabu and Batista? Like, it's just endless with the what ifs. Like, there's so many big what ifs with Sabu. And considering he had such a massive career and well known and well respected career, and there was still so much that he could have done, it definitely makes you think, no?
It does. It really does. I mean, just him coming in with Cena, it was so extreme during that time. So you could only imagine. I think his personality probably get. I feel like he should have been bigger than what he should have been,
Oh yeah, as
and
big as
maybe
he
just
was.
the way he approached the business from that old school mentality might have hindered him. But I mean, that dude was Jesus. You had to have been there to see him live. It was a fucking treat. It was a treat. Like him and Taz, him and RVD, them RV man. Oh, you know how many times I got my ass whooped standing up trying to find the Dudleys, and then Sabu and RVD when RVD was like double champ and Sabu was just, you know what I'm saying, they were
Right.
killing. They were a cheat code in ECW. I'm just saying. They were goddamn cheat codes.
You know, I will say it is bittersweet. Only 61 years old. Um, could did a lot more living. But it's that you know, Roddy Piper Matt. Wrestlers don't live over 60, unfortunately. Um, the good thing was, he got to have his last match and kind of get that closure. Um,
Yes.
the best thing is, you know, he's at peace now, and he's probably up there with Super Genie. Um, so I couldn't be happier for him if that is the case. But for us in the living world, I would say definitely thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family.
Rest in peace, RVD. I mean, that's RVD. I'm killing RVD. Rest in peace, Sabu. Jesus, don't be killing RVD. Oh my God.
If RVD dies now, I'm totally blaming you.
Oh, please don't. I don't need to. Oh gosh, I don't need to get canceled. He killed RVD.
Loki, I still blame you for Howard Finkel.
Oh man. Dang, don't get me there. Jeez.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.